You're with the Break-a-Leggers, and we're in London's West End at the Noel Coward Theatre
to see the musical Girl from the North Country.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs.
Whether it's break a leg
or leg it. Before you lovely people go any further,
to make sure you've always got your finger on the theatrical pulse.
For theatre news, reviews and interviews,
hit subscribe now.
Yeah, hit subscribe now. Please comment below. Let us know about this show if you go to see it, or any shows you're excited for that you're going to see, or shows you've seen. Oh, also don't forget to use our Today Tix code in the description below for £10 off your first offer.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did for this show. We booked through Today Tix. We can't use our own code, so we paid full price. But if you've never used the app before, you can get great savings on some great shows.
Yes, so Girl from the North Country. This show, I understand, started off at the OLD VIC, premiered in July of 2017, and is now transferred here.
Yeah, written and directed by the songwriter Conor McPherson. It features songs from Bob Dylan's back catalogue. Now, I'm not a Bob Dylan fan. I don't really know his work. Do you know any Bob Dylan songs?
I'm not a fan of Bob Dylan. Not that I wouldn't be a fan, but I don't really know of his stuff. Hopefully there's a couple of songs I recognise in there.
But it's been kind of, his back catalogue has been woven into a brand new story by Conor McPherson, which is set in America in the 1930s during the Great Depression, and tells a story of a community struggling to deal with the hardships of the time.
It consists of a 20-piece company of actors and musicians. It has an interval.
Yep.
Although, do we know how long this is?
Not quite sure, but I guess we'll find out when we go in. It did get great notices at the OLD VIC, so hopefully it'll be just as good here in the West End. We'll let you know what we think at the interval.
So you've come to the interval of Girl from the North Country here at the Noel Coward Theatre, which means it is time for the Break-a-Leggers 30-second interval breakdown. Go! What do you think so far?
Yeah, I'm struggling to find the value in the piece. It's beautifully performed, the songs sound lovely, and I'm being introduced to Bob Dylan's lyrics, which I think are really nice. But as a piece of theatre, at its own merits, I don't know. What about you?
I can tell that the writing is good. It comes from a place where they obviously know the period. The depth of character is nice as well. The songs are fantastic. Beautifully orchestrated, but it's a bit slow. Let's see what the second act brings.
We've come to the end of Girl from the North Country. Now, did you understand the significance of the name of the piece? Did it seem like it was about
from the North
a girl
Country?
from the North Country?
No, there were girls in it.
I mean, North America's a North Country, is that it? They were all lived there. No one seemed to come from there specifically. It is a Bob Dylan song, but maybe without knowing the song a bit more, don't get the significance. But overall, what did you think?
I thought it was quite subtle. I thought it was quite slow in places. I almost feel as if the whole piece could have been just one act. Like, I did like the plot points. I thought it was very Tennessee Williams-esque in its period. I guess
That's
it's
the setting as well.
It's set in that period, and it kind of had some of the strong layered characters of a Tennessee Williams.
But underdeveloped overall, I would say. I think with the beauty with Tennessee Williams' writing is you get definitive character arc, you get storyline with character.
But I got that.
Did you?
I did get that. Yeah, I thought some of the characters were like that, very deep, very layered. That sometimes it's just you just deliver the character and that's it. But I felt as if these characters had come from somewhere and had a big back journey, which
Maybe
affected where they were. Maybe from the North Country, and that they were going somewhere, and that they did change. So I like that, but I almost felt as if the songs and the
book
didn't
gel.
No, which is a shame.
Yeah,
because the music was great. What did you think?
Yeah, I think musically it was brilliant and it was beautifully performed. I mean, but on that very superficial level. I mean, are there any surprises? West End performers can sing. Like, there's nothing new. There was nothing surprising about that. I would have been disappointed if it hadn't have been sang well.
Well, I guess you could then say that the beauty of the songs is in the arrangements. I almost imagine if you do know these songs, and that this is a fantastic presentation of those songs in a really nice style, beautifully arranged harmonically, vocally, lovely harmonies, lovely use of ensemble in the songs.
The flip side of that is if you do love these songs, you might find this interpretation an insult. I mean, I've got friends that are massive Queen fans that found We Will Rock You, well, abysmal as a result of it being presented in a new way. If something is passionate about something and they like something for a certain reason, it is a gamble to take that material and spin it into a new kind of reimagining. So yes, I think Dylan fans are going to enjoy it by and large. Maybe some of them won't. Yeah, who knows?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't think...
The music?
Yeah, I enjoyed the music. I don't think I recognised hardly anything. There was a bit towards the end, a bit of an Adele song. That was it. Yeah. Otherwise, the songs were kind of new to me.
I knew at least 3 or 4 of the numbers that I've come into contact with here and there, just from general easy listening. But and they were nicely done. I think that the wonder of Dylan's music for me is the lyrical poetry of his writing. I've got to say, some of the lyrics are beautiful and well rhymed and really well nuanced, and I liked that a lot. Told in this context, I don't know if I got more from it than I would just listening to those songs and judging them by their individual merit as 3, 4, 5 minute pieces of storytelling as a song.
Now, I say that it didn't quite marry, it didn't quite go together, but I guess there was a loose thread of whatever narrative was going on to the song, but very loosely. It was more kind of in mood as opposed to having a direct tie to what was going on. But I just don't think it added that much to it in terms of the music. And like, it's not. This isn't a Bob Dylan the musical or Bob Dylan musical. Do you know how like you said, We Will Rock You is, or it isn't that. It is very much a play that is very separate
to the music,
and then they've got music that could kind of fit. So it's not a.
It's not interwoven into the story.
Not at all. It doesn't move the story on.
It bills itself as a musical, which is quite interesting. I believe that when it was at the Old Vic, it billed itself as a play with music.
Makes more sense.
Which makes a lot more sense. To take this as a musical where you expect songs to drive characterization, plot points, etc., it does not stand up in that respect. Putting this against other musicals, really, they are 2 separate entities as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think this could have worked just as well as a play. Take out the music, take out the music, and just work with that plot, that book. I did feel as if it was good writing. I do think there was something in there, beautifully performed. We'll come on to performances in a bit, but I thought the book could have worked on its own. Honestly, personally.
Yeah, which is a real shame, because then it's maybe not set out to do exactly what it was hoping to. Let's move on to the performances now, in fact, and standouts for me, I would say definitely Debbie Currup. Debbie Currup played a character called Mrs. Nielsen. Now, Debbie's got some great credits. She has played, she's been in The Bodyguard here at the West End. She has been in Sister Act. She understudied the lead for that when it was at the Palladium. And she has got a beautiful, effortless sort of voice, and I really enjoyed her and her characterization. She's an actress that can sing through song, which is important.
Yeah, she was good. She was sound. I also enjoyed, is it Elizabeth? She was played by Shirley Henderson, who on stage looks extremely young. Yes. She looks as if she could be in her early 20s, but apparently isn't.
No, she's much older. She usually gets cast as parts that are very young, i.e. she's probably most widely known as Moaning Myrtle in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. There's a reason they cast her as those young characters, and that's because she doesn't age. I think she must have taken that potion from Death Becomes Her, because she just hasn't aged in decades. But putting her here, married to a man that does look much older than her, I found it really jarring.
Oh, really? Well,
She looked like his daughter.
she did look young, but once I saw the photos of the kind of press photos, you can see that she actually isn't that young. So I
up
imagine
close, she's weathered.
first 5 rows of the auditorium probably got her age, but as you go further back, she just looks younger and younger and younger.
Yeah.
And she's quite small and petite as well.
Very, very diminutive figure, isn't she?
Yeah, and he's kind of talking about the Moaning Myrtle character, kind of the quirky-esque character. She plays a character that has dementia, I think it is, and is deteriorating, has no longer got complete control of her senses, and is very quirky, speaks very honestly the truth, which adds a nice element of comedy to certain scenes. But I thought she played that really well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she gets possibly a nod.
I can't dispute
that.
the fact that
I
she
don't know
is
what you thought.
talented. She is absolutely talented, but in this role, playing a character which, you know, is pitched as much older than she is, I just found it a little bit confused.
Much older than she is? I don't think
Not
it was
much, well, not much older than she is,
is.
but much older than she certainly looks.
Okay, I didn't have that issue, but I see where you're coming from. I thought she was very good, quite quirky. She almost made the show, actually. If that wasn't in there, it possibly would have been a bit more dull, a bit duller, a bit more dull.
Moving away from the music, because Shirley Henderson did have a really unique and lovely voice.
Oh my
which
goodness!
is surprising.
Who knew she could sing?
Yeah, she's a fantastic vocalist.
Now there's a musical on Broadway. We listened to it just the other day, which Avon Tivett was in, about a woman losing her mind.
Oh, Next to Normal.
Next to Normal.
Needs a UK production,
Which
guys.
needs a UK production. I saw her. I could see her playing that lead role.
Yeah.
Like because she could play that kind of losing her mind part, and she had that kind of voice.
Yeah,
Kind of a bit quirky voice, but
High.
beautifully controlled.
Alice Ripley-esque.
That's what it was. It was Alice Ripley-esque. And
Yeah.
who knew she could sing?
Moving away from the vocal, the singing kind of ability of the cast, I've got to say Kieran Hines as Nick Lane was sensational. You get some
Brilliant
acting
actor.
performances that are so unbelievably natural that if you met them in real life, you find it hard to believe they weren't that character. And I can see with him, literally, the separation between what I imagined him to be like and how he acted are just none. Like, he's just so natural. I had to sum it up.
And I've seen him in
amazing.
a number of things. He's been on in Munich, Spielberg film,
Game of Thrones. I mean, who hasn't?
Yeah, and all of his parts, actually think about it, are quite different. Like so he is a good actor. This is a character that he is taking on, and he owned that character. He drove that plot. Nick is essential. He's kind of like the landlord. Is he the landlord? It's not a pub, is it? He's kind of in charge of the hotel
yes.
where it
Hotelier.
is. So he's always kind of on show trying to keep everything going, and he kind of had that charisma. He kept it going while still this kind of underlying plot line of trying to deal with his wife, possibly having an affair, like some real nice issues and underlying plot for him to play with.
Now, if this was a play and he gave the acting performance that he does, I think he would definitely get at least a nomination for maybe an Olivier, maybe a What's on Stage, something like that. Problem is, it's a musical, and he's not going to get Best Actor in a musical because his character doesn't sing.
Does that matter?
I think it
Can somebody
does.
still get Best Actor in a musical, even if though you are a non-singing part? What are your thoughts?
It would be very controversial.
Because, like, if it's a fantastic performance, you can't then just suddenly go, well, he's a rubbish act, we can't nominate him.
If it's a quiet year.
So, do you know what I mean? It must be. I'm thinking he must be able to be up. He must be able to. But hey, what do
Surely,
you think?
I'm sure he's eligible. Will he get it? Who knows? Time will tell. Not long before the Olivier season hits us. Well, let's round it up, because you're wondering how many legs we're going to give this piece.
So, for Girl from the North Country, here at the Noel Coward Theatre, for the next 12 weeks, I think it is, it's
Yes.
a strictly limited period,
Yes.
we are going to give... Three legs, yes, 3 legs, 3 legs. Lovely music.
Yeah, I feel generous with the 3, to be honest. As it's set out to be a piece of musical theatre. By those standards, I could probably have gone to a 2. But judging the beautiful performances, the beautiful arrangement, the music, and the fact that I was moved and whisked away by the sound of it all, it just got a little bit tipped into a 3 for me.
Yes, it is no jukebox musical, it is no Jersey Boys, it is no Mamma Mia, it is no Beautiful,
No.
it is very much a subtle piece.
So subtle, in fact, that I did feel myself drifting off to sleep in the first act, briefly, but only briefly.
Second act a little bit for me. but there were moments when it didn't move very well.
Yes.
But hey, that's what we thought.
Yeah, what did you guys think? Have you seen it either here or at the Old Vic? We'd love to hear what you thought.
Yeah, let us know. Leave your comments below.
We're the Breaker Leggers. We'll catch
you again soon. Bye.